Okay, I wanted to show everybody this to let you know that they it seems like they really are like messing with the views and comments when people are posting stuff. As you can see, the video too obvious. I've already posted this on the guide channel too. As you can see up there. Now I'm going to my home place right here. Now it's got no views on the guide channel, right? But when I showed you earlier, it said it was already 4 views. Now then, I'm gonna go to my side channel here. You look at this. From here, it says 4 views. Now, this is from my side channel when I first put it up. Same thing. It still says 4 views. Now I'm gonna go over to the browser. You're gonna see something much more different. That's the same channel, but as you can see, it's 11 views on it. Basically, they're if you don't know what they're doing, and I want to assure everyone, understand all fellow TIs out there, all fellow individuals who are looking to expose this corruption, they're trying to sidetrack both views and comments to basically pretty much get us in a discredited manner to try to turn us against each other and whatnot, or to try to basically get everything, basically screw everything up pretty much when it comes to the connections that we're making with fellow people who are experiencing this, who are also seeing this. So I just wanted to make this video to assure everyone that that's what they're doing. And I'm not just gonna do that. I've also got something special for you today. I don't claim any copyright for this, but I feel that it's needed to be spread it out more. Let me see if I can find this video. There was a specific video that he made. See if I can find it. There it is. I wanted to share this specific video with you all, and so we all would spread the knowledge from this. Excuse me. And it's very important as to everything that he's saying, and I feel the need that it's definitely need to be known, because honestly, this corruption goes a lot far deeper than you may think. Now this, I'm gonna be honest with you. You're gonna hear some stuff that you may have not even known. Everyone who is aware of Zacchaeus, what he has done and all that stuff, the knowledge that he's passed down, I'm doing my part to expanding that knowledge so other people will be able to do the same, so that we all, won't forget what the truth is going on that they don't want you to know. Again, I claim no copyright from this whatsoever.
What's up, beautiful people? Um, Today is a day where the world is changing as it always does. But fortunately, we're actually moving forward more so than we ever have on the face of this earth. I think the last time that anything so explosive, so extraordinary, so groundbreaking has ever happened was when the fall of the Knights Templars came about and they got burned at the stake for belief of being heretics and practicing witchcraft and not having any faith in Christ. Now, when you follow these stories and current events, the reason why I'm on this subject is because it's very important to me, because I have a lot of Freemasons in my family. My step family is full of a lot of evil Freemasons that gave their soul to the devil. My grandfather's side of Masons are sovereign Nubian Moors. So what you have in my family is you have my step family that came in to actually take control of me, my family, my money, through the powers that be, which are controlled by the United States Federal Reserve Corporation, which is in turn controlled by the English, which the English monarch is controlled by, the Rothschilds. And then from there, it's controlled by the Vatican. Now, on up to the Vatican, the head of the snake has been caught, but it hasn't been cut off. The Pope. Now, if you know your history about the Jesuits, and the Jesuits being accused of Nazism, and the Jesuits actually being accused of being behind Hitler, and the Rothschilds Hitler was actually a Rothschild. Hitler was actually conceived in Paris, and then the little 14-year-old girl that was raped, his great-great-grandmother was sent away to Germany, got paid off. They still have a law in existence in Paris today. You can have sex, I think, with a 13, 14-year-old girl, just as long as it's okay with the parents. That's sick. This law was put in effect by yours truly, the Rothschilds, who own more land in France than any Frenchman. Or at least they did before all of this stuff started happening. So these are facts, and you can research them yourself. One of the things that I would actually like to get into is the subject of the dark arts that most people don't want to admit to, that it's going to be very alarming to so-called closed-minded Christians. Let me break down two things to you before I get into this subject. And I strongly urge you to research this. Now, when Constantine came about and created the Church of Christianity, they knew specific things, how to trick God's children into blasphemy, worshiping false idols through words, alchemy, and just straight out lies. Now, if you remember the man we know as Yeshua, because he was born a Hebrew and he died a Hebrew, there was no J in pronunciation. There was no J in existence when he walked the earth, so his name is not Jesus. So when you call him Jesus, you call God's Son out of his name. They also know this is the trick. Learn the difference between a crucifix and a cross. A cross is very old and very sacred and was never meant to be tainted by anyone's blood. It is a sacred object passed down throughout history. Even the Indians have the thing we know as the cross before they got crucified by the people who worship the crucifix, because they called them savages. Now, when you get into Christ and the word Christ, now if you look it up, to call yourself a Christian, it means tainted one. And Constantine and the pagans who created the Church of Christianity knew this. Because when he lived, when his teachings were circulating, he was called the fish. He was called the anointed one. He was called the one to know to get close to God. So when you call yourself a Christian, you are actually calling yourself a Christ. There is no Christ. There's only one Christ. What I mean is there is no Christ, Christuses, however you want to put it. Because when you say you're a Christian, you are actually saying that you have the same powers as that individual, that being, that entity, that anointed one. Like the Pope. Did the Pope ever walk on water? Did the Pope ever do 95, 99, 90, okay, 100% of what Christ did? No, he did not. He did everything opposite of that man. The Pope is an antichrist. What is the definition of an antichrist? An individual that pretends to worship Christ in public but in secret does not. That is the actual definition of an antichrist. So, technically, many people can be an antichrist when you do not know what you're worshiping. This is the trick of the church. I'm not downplaying it. I'm not telling you anything that's not true, historically speaking. Because when the truth comes out, and when people actually find out about the biggest trick that's been played on the world is the beast actually making people believe that he didn't exist. It says in the Bible that the beast was given 1,000 years to go into God's church, go into God's domain, and tempt God's people away from thee. What do you think the beast does? The beast lies, changes things, suits things, so you will think that you are worshiping the Almighty when you're not. You're giving your energy, you're giving your prayers to it, to that thing. Let me bring your attention to Amen. Now here's the trick of the prayer. It's in threes, always in the power of three. Why? Because if you take 2 sets of threes, you get 6. It's always in the power of 3 because in alchemy, the power of 3 brings power. Now, when you get into the prayer, you say the Father, that being the Father of God, Yahweh. Some people call him Jehovah, but there is no Jehovah. Saying Jehovah is calling God out of its name. It's a New World Translation, pronunciation. So when you get into Yahweh, the Father, then the Son, and then the Holy Spirit, all the same, all one. But see, the trick is the Trinity. They trick you by not understanding what the Trinity is. Now, the first 2 parts of the Trinity is true, but then when you get into the last part of the Trinity, after you say your prayer, what do you say in the end of the prayer? You say Amen. Now, do a Google search. Search on YouTube. Plenty of videos about the destination and orientation and origination of the word Amen. Now, all of you, have you seen Stargate? Yes, you have. If you haven't, watch it. Because they break down a lot of things to you. There is a nice little guy in Stargate called Amun-Ra. Ra, the sun god. Now, it is no coincidence that the Christian prayer ends in Amen. Because in the end of the prayer, you say the most wickedest name throughout all time. Amen enslaved Egypt and the Nubians and its people. Amen was a pharaoh. The same as what, they're trying to make Obama out to be. Amen-Ra. So when you get into the Trinity, there are only 2. There's God and His Son. There's no 3. Power in threes. So then when you get into, when you say your prayer, you say Amen. And I write things on Facebook, spiritual things, and people are like, Amen to that, this and this. I just want to just tell them, how dare you speak that name over something so sacred and blessed that I wrote. Do your history. Study. Please go to a library. Type in the origination of Amun-Ra. Research it. Study it. And then you will see, why is this name at the end of a prayer that you're offering up to God? But people don't want to do that. People would rather sit in their own ignorance and own self-security, that rather than acknowledging that they've been doing this their whole life and offering up this prayer to this fucking demon at the end of this prayer, where they could have sworn it with all their heart, giving it to God. They say this demon's name at the end of their prayer with congregations of thousands. They don't want to admit to themselves that they've been doing this, so they would rather go on in ignorance and blind faith. When you stop doing it, and when you actually start praying to God, and giving God respect, and calling God by God's name, and calling Yeshua by his name, they come, they listen. They've never left you. It is not your fault for being fooled, being tainted, being tricked. Understand, the word Christian means tainted one. Who tainted you with the non-truth? The beast. Amen. Amen Ra. The space god. The Gua'ul god. The god from outer space that they say, like in Stargate, which the Stargate does exist. But the American government don't want to admit to it, and I had to go over to France to see that the shit does exist in an underground base in the Bastille, in the middle of the freaking city. Because in the Bastille, there's a bomb-proof shelter that was turned into an underground base by the Rothschilds in the keep of the Bastille. That is the keep of the old fort that used to be there in the Bastille. It is an underground base that used to house the Stargate up until almost a year and a half ago, until it was shut down. I will not reveal any more of what happened with this, but it was freaking incredible. So for the government to say that this doesn't exist, I know it does. I've seen it. I've been through it. Off-worlds are real. The sick thing about it is these motherfuckers, imagine this technology falling into the hands of the Nazis, okay? And then you being able to go off-world to a civilization that has not seen you or met up with you in thousands of years, and then go in with your advanced technology and take their technology and enslave them and tell them this is your way and turn them into a race of prostitution, sex, and slavery. This is what the Egyptians did in Egypt to the Hebrews, to all the races that they enslaved. And then they joined with the Romans, who continued to do what they were doing. Now imagine the American government, the French government, being run by the Nazi monarch Rothschilds, and the Pope having this technology and going to off-worlds and doing this to women and children. And experimenting on aliens, hybrid humans. I say hybrid humans because I mean humans that have not mixed with our race in hundreds, possibly thousands of years. Now these are things that people don't want to talk about and they don't want to hear. But I'm not the only one who is talking about this. I'm one of the only ones. Not afraid to talk about it. Now I strongly urge you to go online and watch videos by Alex Collier. That's Collier. Now Alex Collier used to work at Area 51. In the late 80s and 90s, he started talking to the world about Area 51 and what the government is doing. What the government is doing to our kids. And I don't have kids, and I can't wait till I have mine. I'm doing this for my unborn. I'm doing this for the women that I love and adore so much. Bless each and every one of you for taking the time to listen to this. Because I'm doing this for you, because women have been my best teachers. My girlfriends, my friends, the women I know on Facebook. They're very strong, courageous gorgeous, incredible, beautiful women. This is about you. Now, the government, if you notice in the 80s, after the Nazis were brought over and they started perfecting vertical lift and their fake UFOs, the Feast of the Beast started during the Reagan administration. Now, if you don't know about the Feast of the Beast, this is a very common name for Freemasons. In the 80s, they were waiting for this because basically they started feasting on women and children, experimenting on cattle, under the disclosure of fake, unidentified flying objects. Nazi UFOs in government bases coming from Area 51, Arizona, kidnapping people. Started out in Texas, started out in Phoenix, started out in bases like Dulce, which the American government is horrified about the truth coming out about that. So let me explain to you about Greys. Greys are hybrid humans made from experimentations. Now, how did they get these entities, these beings? Well, some say these beings, these entities, were able to travel through time. Well, imagine somebody created them here. They time traveled, went to see their future and came back. Maybe they didn't like it. Maybe they wanted to make some adjustments. I don't know. But I do know that these hybrids have taken women, have taken children, and run experimentations on them. Now, the reason that the American public honestly doesn't want to accept this, because scientifically it's been proven. Let me tell you why. Let me bring your attention to the X-Files. Let me bring your attention to an agent named Agent Mulder, who my family and a lady that my mother did work with, she had a facility off NASA Road 1 that she cures government agents. She actually cured Mulder when he got a parasitical sickness the first time the government tried to kill him. His real name is Eric. For all you educated government agents and X-Filers, just by me knowing his real name, you know I'm speaking the truth. And for everybody else, I really don't care if you think this is bullshit or not. But what I'm about to say is the truth. Now, when you get into the X-Files, everyone remembers the beginning of it, when you see the little blonde-haired girl floating across the room into the light. Now, think. Aliens don't need that technology. Witches use this. Witches use levitation. The Thule Society is a Nazi society that was created to gather all information on vertical lift and levitation. So at the beginning of the X-Files, what you see is a little girl being kidnapped by Nazis. Now then, when you get into the X-Files, Agent Mulder finds out his CIA Black Ops father agreed for his daughter to be taken for experimentation, or they would have killed his mother and his son and did the same. So then get into the X-Files, and then you have Agent Mulder searching for his sister, and he finds out after he's an adult, he meets her. And he meets her again and again and again. Clones, different clones of his sister. So they cloned her in these bases. They did all kinds of sick shit. Okay? This is the X-Files broken down in a nutshell. Then the X-Files just exploded. That it was exposing all this stuff. And then the movie came out. After Agent Mulder went through all the Indian stuff and the government bases in Dulce, that's where that was when he went through that stuff. New Mexico, Dulce. I'm putting a name on it because they wouldn't on TV. So then the movie came out, and then at the end, it talks about the American government. It wasn't any aliens, it was the government running experimentations on humans and insects, and then there was this big virus that they were going to unleash with bees. And everyone's like, oh, they were just turned off by the X-Files. They were so disappointed. They really wanted it to be aliens. But the fact of the matter is, in the X-Files, wasn't aliens. They kept telling you, it's the government, it's the government, it's the government. This is what the X-Files exposed and shoved it down your throat. But the American public was turned off by the fact that it wasn't aliens because everyone was so turned on by all the Nazi propaganda crap that's been around since the 80s that the government's been releasing, that aliens are abducting humans and doing all this stuff. Everybody wanted it to be aliens. This is our big contact. This is it. But the government proved that they were successful in brainwashing America with the X-Files and the world. Because they were turned off when someone actually told them, boom, it's your own government. There ain't no aliens. They have this technology. They're kidnapping you and running experiments on the women and the children. Now, Alex Collier, who used to work at Area 51, in a few of his videos, he exposes a lot of things. There's a video about the structures on Mars, the government having structures on Mars, moon bases, and structures on Mars, that they've been supposedly traveling to Mars and the moon for a while, but they don't want you to know, because then if they let you know, then, oh no, what kind of energy are they using? How are they doing this? Maybe cold fusion, maybe Nikola Tesla's free energy, all the things that could free humanity and we'd be free from paying bills and all this stuff, and no more dependent on oil. They couldn't have this, but they can apply this technology to space-oriented ships in secret, and then kill anybody who tries to know, because then it gets protected under highest government disclosure over everybody's pay grade. And if anybody finds out, they get killed. If you're not down with the project. So then when you get into Alex Collier, he also speaks about one thing that I know very deeply and horrifically, because it took me 2.5 years to expose one fact that I'm going to tell you models, tell you people that work with fashion TV, tell all you people that think you know about the fashion industry and think you know about the American government and think you know about the Ukraine and what they do to the most beautiful women. You don't know nothing. Unless you're one of these beautiful girls that has had one of your beautiful friends come up missing. Or, like me, had your girlfriend come up missing. So let me tell you what they do in Eastern Europe. I'm going to give you the history of fashion TV before I get back to Alex Collier and what he actually talks about. Fashion TV was made by two Ukrainians. Before fashion TV existed, they were into smuggling women across borders because the Ukrainian women are so freaking beautiful. Men pay an arm and a leg to have sex with them. So then it became very profitable. And one of the things that, if you're a European, Eastern Europe, if you're in the music industry like me, it's easy to say, oh, she a model, she a dancer with me, beautiful, this, and you're pimping her out, making some money too. This is what they do from Russia to Romania to the Ukraines, because the women are just so beautiful. This is for you, ladies. So then you get into the female cartel and the trafficking of humans. Then let me bring your attention back to the Feast of the Beast. Simply, what was the Feast of the Beast? Kidnapping women and children and running experimentations on them, just like the X-Files exposed. Starting with Agent Mulder's sister. But the X-Files exposed, oh, they're cloning. They're doing all this stuff. They're doing all this stuff to the kidnapped women and children. So, now you get into modern underground black world, black market politics. What is the biggest business? Unspoken. Human slave trade, human trafficking. Snatch a woman off the street. Somebody don't like you. Somebody don't like your family. Somebody want to send a message to you. Snatch somebody that's close to you. Get rid of this person. Get rid of that person. Do this, do this, do this. Who does this? Black market, evil ass motherfuckers that have it down to a science. Now, when a woman is taken, whether she goes to, say, I don't know, Morocco, or say an Arab country where they have harems, where it's notorious and it's freaking known for them taking women and putting them in harems and you never see them again. Let's be honest, Arabs. Now, the Bushes and all these Illuminati motherfuckers been in bed with the Arabs since Osama been in bed with the Bushes with our Busto energies. Okay, people? So, this is some shit that is well known, but people aren't going to piece it together like me. I see the truth. So then you get the Arabs in bed with the Bushes and the Illuminati and the oil trade. But then you got Osama bin Laden that's been in bed with the Bushes and doing all this shit to actually go attack the Muslims. Now, understand there's a difference between the Nation of Islam, which are the biggest evil, most sellout motherfuckers there is, Elijah Muhammad. They call him the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Man, Malcolm X exposed that he was raping little kids, okay? So there's a difference between the Nation of Islam and Islam. Learn the difference. Malcolm X did, and then when he came back to the United States trying to unite his real brothers, they killed him. So let's get hip to the game, Arabs, okay? Arabs, when you get into Arabs and when you get into Aryans, well, who were the first Aryans? The word Aryan is Arab. Hello? The Nazis borrowed all of their teachings, even the swastika, from the Hindus. Occultists. Okay, Arabs and harems, black market, oil, control of oil. All of this Illuminati shit, okay? So then when you get into the slave trade of women and children and what they do and what's going on in Syria, there's reports of, troops going in and taking women and children and they just vanish. What are they doing? Gee, this war, sanctioned by the Pope, started by bullshit 9/11, had some bullshit Muslims sell out with Al-Qaeda, CIA, Qaeda, doing the same shit, kidnapping women and children. Under the name of war, go into the country, blow up some shit, and then send your soldiers in to snatch the women and kids, and then boom, put them in some base, put them in some harem. You never hear from them again. Nobody knows. Everybody thinks they're dead. So you don't have to pay for women. You don't have to pay for kids to run experimentations on them. This is the modern day slave trade that fashion TV is into. Prostitution and snatching women and children to give them to government officials, to give them to people like the Pope, which is coming out now, for their sacrificial rituals, for their witchcraft, for their government experimentations, whatever they choose to do. One of the most alarming things about this is if they get through the brothels and the heroin exploitation and the sex exploitation and the experimentation, their organs are harvested for the black market, which this alone is worth millions. Now, you don't get a receipt for a stolen woman or child. It's the black market. This is what it is. This is what the Pope is into. How do you think he gets his kids? What, the Pope just goes on the street? Come here, say a prayer with me? No, I don't think so. It's a market. It's an industry. These Freemasons have it down to one of the most sadistic businesses known to man. So then when you get into government underground facilities, and I told you I'd get back to Alex Collier, a lot of Alex Collier's videos, he talks about what they've been doing. And it is actually really alarming and sick. I'm going to point out two very important things to tell you why they use kids. Number one, Freemasons, witches, warlocks, priests, all know this because they all practice alchemy. When you get into the level of alchemist, the first level is priest. The highest level is sorcerer, which all these guys, still worship Merlin and all his bullshit. So, if you study the levels of alchemy, you'll know that, I know my shit. So, let me tell you why Freemasons and witches love virgins. Throughout all time and throughout all their little witchcraft stories, starting with Hansel and Gretel, we have the kids coming to the house of candy and the witch tries to eat them. See, the public really doesn't want to believe that this is true. It's just a fairy tale, but Hansel and Gretel is based on German folklore. A lot of these stories are based on folklore throughout Europe. These stories that have been told to us about witches, and then they were given to us as kids, and we thought, oh, yeah, that's cool, that's scary. Go Hansel and Gretel, burn the witch. Well, one of the best ways to get rid of a witch is to burn them. There's a new movie out about Hansel and Gretel, which goes a lot of more in depth into these stories, and they've grown up, they're adults, we're adults. Now we can talk about the truth. So what they do with kids is kids are virgins. Kids are pure. Freemasons and witches know that taking the energy of children or sleeping with children, which they do, gives them longevity, gives them the secret of youth, makes them seem younger than they are. Now their secrets are being exposed. Why do you think Dick Cheney just won't die? I wonder how many kids he's taken into his sacrificial rituals. I don't lie. No need to. I hope a Freemason is listening to this and your face is red as shit. If you got a Freemason friend, let him listen to this and see what he does. Just watch his face while the truth oozes out of me. So then number two, why do they need women and kids for experimentation? Well, they need the kids because the kids have not eaten all the toxic food and been toxified for years like us with GMOs and all of the poisonous stuff. They need the pure kids because of their DNA, their untainted DNA, to run government experimentations on for hybrids of I don't know what. And then they need the women to be the 3-month, 2-month incubators. And then they take the women to be sold again into the slave trade or brothels or whatever after they use them as a female to grow their test tubes in, and then the test tube is taken out, or the fetal baby is taken out and put into a bigger test tube to be grown, sometimes into a baby or a full-fledged adult. This is what the American government is doing, and nobody wants to admit to it. Nobody wants to admit to these Nazi underground facilities where we brought these Nazis over to the United States under Operation Paperclip. Hey people, they mastered cloning. The Russians proved that the blood that was found in Hitler's bunker that they supposedly blew up was cloned DNA. Hitler cloned himself, faked his death. Gee, that ain't hard to do. Have you ever seen James Bond or MI5? And how many times James Bond and died? What do you think those those tactics are a lie? I would like to bring your attention to a book, 100 Ways to Survive. Tells you how to fake your death. It's pretty simple. It don't involve cloning. So I strongly urge you to listen to Alex Collier. He has tons of videos on YouTube. I have them posted on my Facebook, Zacchaeus Breedlove Ewing. I have them, marked on my Facebook, Zacchaeus Breedlove Ewing. In my YouTube, under facts, under history. These are things that I put together videos, so please watch them, get informed. They're on their way out. Now, one last thing that I'd like to strongly urge you to understand. Government agents, police, rogue agents, uninformed, low-level, people with guns and licenses to kill. It's what they do. What do you think? They're going to admit it to you? Huh? They would rather slit their own throat than to have them say the truth and their own family and friends to know exactly what they are. If their friends and family aren't doing this crap with them, which most of them are. It's 13 bloodlines and the people that they pull in with them. How do you think they pull them in? When you become a Freemason, you go into a sacrificial ritual. What does the sacrificial ritual imply? Kids. They get you to do such sick, twisted things. Hey, Justin Timberlake. Hey, Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt. The list goes on and on and on. They get you to do such sick, twisted things to make sure that you will never talk about it, because it will be downright embarrassment to see the sick, twisted look in people's eyes when they look at you. So they get you involved in these rituals to do it with them. To do these things to kids. And to be in rooms when they do these things with kids and women. They will never talk about it. And these people claim to be victims? I'm sorry, I'm an adult. If I ever witness anything like this, I'd go home and slit my throat. Not go on and make music, dance around on TV, take photo ops, and get the world to worship me like a false idol. These people are wicked. Let what I speak be their judgment, because you can't dispute it, it's the truth. Take out each and every one of them, because they're sick, they're twisted, and they're addicted to doing this. This is what it means to be part of this organization. So many women and kids gone. They get addicted. They are serial killers, serial rapists, witches, Freemasons, sworn to Satan. I am God's soldier, watched over by angels. I hate these disinformation, uninformed, stupid-ass Luciferian bitches. They keep fucking with me. They say I keep spreading disinformation. Well, fuck you, satanic worshipers, okay? I'm with God. I know my information. I know where it comes from. And I know how to strip and rip the face off the beast so they may no longer feast on the blind and the needy of the truth and God. I am Zacharias. If you don't know the story of Zacchaeus, please look it up biblically. It ain't too far from who I am. My stage name is Zacchaeus, CAKAOS. I'm a musician, I'm a poet, I'm a lover, I'm a true believer in God. Thank you for your time. God bless each and every one of you. Learn the truth, tell a friend. I'm not afraid to do it. I know what I'm in. I know what they've been doing. I'm just waiting to get my money, and so my day can come where I can get out of this shit and start re-recording my music and build my studio with my beautiful lady, my friends, and surround myself by women that love me and I love them. Stay blessed. Peace.
All right. I wanted to share this with everyone. I claim no copyright for this channel's content, but I feel like this was something that needs to be done. This is information that needs to be spread out so that people will not be blind to this bullshit of which they are portraying out on the media, out in public, and in our faces as time goes by. We've seen the corruption on as obvious as it can ever be. We've seen the lies. We've seen the deceitfulness. We all have been betrayed. All of us have. It could be by our own neighbors, by our own former friends, by our own family members. We have all been betrayed. All of us have. I'm going to go ahead and end this video here, but I wanted to get this out mainly because of the truthfulness of the religion. I feel that we truly are reaching the tribulation period, so I don't want people to be out there, just absorbing that misinformation and ended up just, because God, it is stated in the Bible, thou shalt not worship no other false idols. No false idols, man. Thou shalt not worship no false idol at all. None. And if you do that, that's damnation, man. That's damnation. I've noticed a lot of spikeness that's going on, and I feel like they're still trying to pull their crap over even now. I've seen a channel called The Epic Times, but I honestly, I see that they are like exposing some things, but I still can't help but feel like the shit is staged. If people why just now are they coming out telling the truth? Why now? I understand some of these farmers and shit, the ones who are saying that they can't sell the cattle and stuff like that anymore. The ones who were putting these chemicals in our fucking food from the beginning, who were being paid off. Notice how they're saying that they got to shut their lines down. If you don't believe me, look it up, because they sure as hell had it on the news broadcast that they were going to end up shutting that down, as well as seed production. All of that. And they were going to make it so you wouldn't even be able to have and grow food in your own homes. Yeah, no joke. Even more so, it's just an attempt for them to force GMO on us. Trust me, this whole coronavirus shit is going to go away. It is. But when it does, that 5G crap is already here. I don't know about the next person, but man, I'm abandoning. I'm leaving the U.S., dude. This whole place has become a hidden, a covered up fucking cesspool of sin. Okay, and people who are just around this are being blinded day by day, and I can only imagine what's going to happen with the next generation if we don't do something now. It's so bad because people get converted by this BS of this stuff that they are putting in the skies, man. No one asked for them to do this crap. They stepped there and did it anyway. We've seen the connection between both that and directed energy weapons and the fact that it's mind manipulation. So a lot of the stuff that people would end up doing is not even their own nature. It's not even them. That's not even their energy that's causing them to do that. It's someone else's energy and someone else's desires to want them to do that shit. And yet they still got to go into court and be told, no, you're guilty on a whole bunch of BS that is obviously not even their fault because they were manipulated. And then we got these selfish assholes out here who don't give a damn, not even about their own damn kids, not even about their own damn family, not even about their own damn friends. They just care about their damn self and their own fucked up money of some stupid shit that grows off a tree. You got trees all over the damn place. Why don't you get that and you have plenty of damn paper for once? Endless amounts, none of that. Just grow your own damn paper. Quit fucking sacrificing people for your shit. I tell you, man. I'm not gonna allow hate in my life. I'm not. I am disgusted by the nature of which they do, and how people are just influenced into doing some of the most deplorable things, and they have no idea that they're being manipulated in the first place. It sends a big shroud of disgustedness throughout my entire being, man. And I was even told all these effed up lies when I was a kid. We all were. All this BS about amen and all this stuff, man. Understand? I'm only doing. This is only for educational purposes on this, so that people will not be blind by this BS because they're still doing it. They're still doing it even now. Even now. And I'm just curious, did people really, and like a lot of the stuff that's going on, man, from what I'm seeing, I'm just curious, did people really, do the research on everything, or did you just take up what you've seen and what you were told? Like, did you really look in when you did your research, did you really do your research and look to see every little cornerstone, every little hidden thing that could have been throughout this to assure that this or that of what you are following was legit? And you have nothing to prove to me. It's something you have to prove to yourself so that you understand that you know for 100% without a doubt that you will be saved when the time comes and this whole thing ends. This is not for discriminative purposes. This is basically to the point for everyone to be able to question whether or not the faith that they have been following is legit or not. Because this deceitfulness that they have been pulling is real. It's here. And it threatens everyone. This is MM. Remember, they're doing the best they can to actually try to hide the truth. They're doing the best they can to get the little shadiest BS pushed through while everybody's blinded, just sanctioned on their television. If you're wondering why they want you to stay at home, I'm going to tell you why. They are, by me receiving a census thing, right? When you receive a census, they want you to account for everyone within an area. Now, I'm not breaking any laws by even mentioning this, because technically people would know anyway, because you would have to, ask them and inform them that you are a census taker, which I am not. I'm not going to that. And I'm not going to go into details too much about it, but I want people to understand what this is, man. That is an attempt to basically find out who all is where and when and where they're coming from and where they're going to. That's what that is for. I don't know why that is. Because they want to use this shit to collect your EEG data. For them to do that, they need to find your choice reference patterns, your watch history, all of this other shit that they like to do to prime you and get you ready for this directed energy weapon bullshit. That's what it is. That's what it's there for. That's why they're doing all of this. Targeted individuals warned all of you about the BS that's going on. And if you just shoved it off as some superstitious nonsense, well, you're a damn fool. Because in the end, any threat that is out there towards your life, your kid's life, your wife or your husband's life, it's something that you damn well better be worried about. Because because you could sit there and not worry, but then it's gonna get to a point to where it's too late. You're not gonna know what to do. You're not even gonna know how to defend yourself, and you'll just be up to you'll literally just be up to creek nothing but a whole bunch of bricks, and you won't even be able to. You know where I'm getting at with this. Anyway, I'm about to end this video here. I don't even know if this thing is okay. Good, it's still recording. Okay. Once again, I claim no copyright for this, but I wanted to help spread this out. You have my permission to spread this out, as I'm sure Zacchaeus would want for everybody to know this. Otherwise, this video would not have been made. If you're wondering about like what's after 42, there's really nothing after 42. I've already checked. There could be. I'm not sure, but it's mostly like silent. So I don't know if it, like that second part was cut out or not. I don't know. Maybe you forgot the. I don't know. You can check it out for yourself. I'm gonna leave a link in the description so you can see this. I'm only doing my best because you know they're gonna try to censor the damn media. You know that's happening. But if you're wondering what my opinion about the Epoch Times situation is, I think that's a counter surveillance tactic. Because first off, remember how desperate they are with controlling the media? Why just now are they trying to? Are people coming out desperately telling the truth like that? Do people not see the obviousness of that? I'm gonna tell you what this is. And this is exactly how I predicted what the fuck they were gonna do. All those people who they were putting into the business and shit, they're cutting them off by section. They're cutting them off by section, and they're feeding you another thing on the side, trying to say, oh, well, like, we're going to be exposing all of this shit, right? Oh, they're exposing all of it, right? But they're getting rid of the people who they don't want to be paying anymore. They're cutting them off. They got what they needed, so they don't need them no more. It's going to happen with these gang stalkers. It's going to happen with these handlers and so on and so forth. And the people who are in the inner sanctum of this bullshit, the higher ups, are going to be the only ones in charge of this shit. So to all you fellow gang stalkers, yeah, they're going to cut your ass off. I guarantee you that. You could be stupid enough not to see it, but it is. You have a choice. Either help us put a stop to this shit or continue to be brainwashed and continue to be lied to and watch what happens in the next following years. At this point, man, in my honest opinion, if you want to know about these gang stalkers, they're brainwashed, completely gone. But honestly, it could be either completely brainwashed or they could be clones, dude. They could be. I don't know. Maybe so. But this is the truth of what it is. I'm doing my part in sharing this, and I would hope everybody else does the same. They killed this man just for telling the truth, just for exposing their shit. If you don't know, he ended up being killed due to the vapor trails of which they put out and these directed energy weapons. They killed them with a forced heart attack with these weapons. And yes, that is legit. That's how they do this stuff, man. That's why they've been putting this stuff out there. These vape trails contain things of which we, it is a mixture of both Morgellons, and it's a mixture of both the Sith parasite. The real name of this thing is the Sith parasite, basically, but it's mostly in a mixture with also black goo, from what he's describing here. Understand that people around us who could be living next door to us, who could be even our own family members, are hired to lace this shit everywhere. If you are a target individual, they could be lacing this stuff in your food, on your doorknobs, on any items you would normally get out of a damn grocery store or a regular store or a clothing store. Did you know that they actually put RFID liquid on clothes in Walmart? Don't ever buy clothes with synthetic laced toxins on it within its materials, because if you don't know, that stuff seeps into your skin. If you're gonna go clothes shopping, get 100% cotton. That's the best you can do. Get 100% cotton. Now with this situation they're doing with the food, sun gazing If you start sun gazing, you'll find yourself to be filled up with a lot more energy than before. Also, it also helps you actually not even have to eat for a while too. A lot of people don't notice. A lot of the secrets that they've been hiding are coming out. A lot of people out there sharing the information to help as many people as they can, and I applaud all of you for doing that. All TIs out there who are spreading the truth, who are fighting, who are still maintaining strong. I applaud all of you. From one TI to another. I didn't ask to be born in this world, but for whatever time I have left until I meet my till I meet my end, whenever it is, I don't fear death. But I'm gonna do whatever I can to continue to spread this knowledge out as best I can. I'm gonna do the best I can to help all of those out when I can and if I can. If I don't have time to help anybody out, I'm gonna make time to help people out. And that is my most some solemn vow. This is MM. This video is made and belongs to Zacchaeus on this channel, as you can see there, not claiming any copyright. And I'm going to end this video here. Take care, everyone. Stay prayed up, and shalom.